back to my channel today, and we are doing a brand new Sims 4 creative sim video slash makeover slash addition, whatever you want to call it. I'm doing a lovely creative sim. And if you don't know, I have a save file out for New Crest where it's completely base game, all new townies, all new houses, storylines, everything that is officially done. And I wanted to move over to Oasis Springs because Johnny Zest, the land grabs, the Calientes, Don Lothario, and a few other townies that I want to give a makeover to because they are jacked up crazy and their storylines just do not match, and I want to make it how I see fit with my own version. And I personally always believe that Johnny Zest needed a much needed makeover because he's from 2014. We're in 2023. The Sims 4 is 9 years old, and I felt like he needed new hair, new outfits, tattoos, upgrade on his skills, his career, relationships, everything. And I don't know when the Sims team is ever going to do a refresh on the land grab Johnny Zest scenario, but in my eyes, I'm just going to do it myself. So that way I have it for my version, and when they eventually do it, they have their version. But we all know that Johnny Zest is technically a land grab because he looks like a spitting image of Malcolm Landgrab, but he's disowned and has the last name Zest. So in my eyes, I always personally believe that Johnny Zest had the best life when you're thinking of him being upgraded to 2023. So what I did is I gave him a brand new career, gave him a more of an updated career and more levels. He's a little bit older. He has better skills. He also has a relationship with his father, Jeffrey Landgrab, not so relationship with Nancy, and a so-so relationship with Malcolm. And when you go into my save file, when eventually I finish this whole Oasis Springs part, you'll see the connection that he is connected to the Landgrabs. And he's a little bit more richer, and he's a little bit more nicer. He has longer hair, he has tattoos, his style has changed, but for the better. And I wanted to add in 3 other Sims plus more to his household because where he currently lives, it's just a gigantic lot with one trailer building on it, and I felt like we could add 2 other buildings to it. So, in my eyes and my chat, we decided to call them the Zesty Besties because they're all zesty because of Johnny Zest, and they're all besties. So it seemed perfect enough to actually call them the Zesty Besties. Bada bing, bada boom, said and done. But these 3 other Sims that are going to live here have a little bit more of a backstory to them that I thought was really unique and cool because I kind of planned out what households I want to add in to Oasis Springs other than just plopping in random Sims. They have no backstory, no nothing. Well, for the second sim that I created is this current sim right now, and his name is actually Dylan Chapman. He's a hot-headed bookworm, but a neat sim who's a quick learner, but he really loves music and he wants to become a best-selling author. Now, the idea that I had for him is that he was going to be some type of freelance writer where he didn't want to be tied down to a career and have people say, write this, write that, publish this, publish that, due date, whenever. That I only see him as doing books every once in a while. So he's a freelance writer, but the twist is that he's a single father who was never really married, but he has always wanted to have kids, but not be tied down to marriage or relationships or anything. So he's really just living on this property with Johnny Zest and the other 2 Sims that will live here. And he actually had his own science baby with his own genetics from several years ago. And then he adopted a kid recently, and their 2 kids' names are Sierra Chapman, who's adopted, and a science baby named Benjamin Chapman, who is an actual infant. And I honestly really love Sims so much to the point where I feel like they're real. And with Dylan, he has always had this mindset of wanting to be the best of the best for himself, his kids, his community, where he lives, where he's gonna go. And I could really see him like traveling a lot. And ever since he knew that Johnny Zest was looking for not necessarily like a roommate, but more so like a person to live on his property, he knew this was like the perfect opportunity for him and his kids to live here. He used to live in Willow Creek and then moved to Spring to kind of start a new life for himself, his kids, and just like his overall mindset because his parents are still living. They live in Willow Creek in like a retirement home setting. And a lot of the times he tends to visit them every once in a while. I haven't created them yet, but I will soon whenever I get to Willow Creek, because the way that I'm doing this is I don't want to like stop and start certain projects in my save file where it makes no sense, but I'm thinking that I probably will create them so that way they're in the family tree, but they're in like the household bin, but not necessarily in like a house, if that makes sense. Either way, they'll be like in a retirement home setting with other Sims, and it's gonna be really fun. I'm so excited, but I don't know. I've been having so much fun making Sims and storytelling and building and just doing whatever I really want to do and making it happen. And here it is. But for the next sim that I created for this particular household makeover is Shannon Joyner. Now, Shannon is a sim that really wants to be happy. And she actually has a lovely fiance that she's going to be marrying very soon. And her name is Melina Arnold, which you'll see in the next sim after Shannon. But Shannon is actually an adult. She's also a freelance person, but she's a freelance digital artist. Now, she's always grown up with artistic bones in her body. Her parents were artists. They lived in San Myshuno for several years. They had their own art gallery. They were like one of the best art people out there, best art critics. Her father was an art critic, but her mother was more like a artiste that would go here and there and travel to different countries in The Sims to showcase her art. And her father would also come by and, travel with her every once in a while. But ever since Shannon joined the whole artist idea, she was influenced to go to Bridechester University as a art major, later on transferred from Bridechester University to Foxbury Institute, but in the same track. And honestly, she's always been an artist, so that's why she wanted to be a freelance artist and not be tied down to like a little 9 to 5 job and like really saying paint this, paint that. The whole gist of this whole entire community, the Zesty Besties, is that they're not being tied down to a certain person or a certain job or a certain anything, but certain things do have to happen for them to make their dreams come true. And they're not in the Lulu season, they're in their true mind season. And I firmly believe that Shannon is going to have the best life and a happy life with her fiance, soon to be wife, Melina Arnold. And Shannon is actually pregnant with her first ever baby. And actually, it's with Melina. So when you go into the save file, she's actually pregnant and she's in her second trimester, I believe. I'm not really entirely sure, but she's pregnant. And Melina, she's just like so cool, so down to earth, very chill. They actually both met in university, but at Foxbury Institute. And since then, they've always been together. They were college, university sweethearts. Melina was like a junior and Shannon was like a freshman. So the age difference is very big, but not too big because Melina is an adult and Shannon's a young adult. Whereas Johnny, I think he's still a young adult in my game, but I aged him up a little bit. Dylan is a young adult, but Melina's the only adult in this little scenario. But ultimately, Shannon knew that Melina was the one and knew that they were going to get married one day and have the best life. And they still live on this property with Johnny Zest. And you'll see the speed build that I'll post later in the week. But these four people all live together on the same property. Now, I wish there was a way you could have where you could like rent individual properties on the same property, like townhouses, where one person pays their rent on one property, and then the other one, and then another one. But since we don't really have that in the game, we make do with what we have, so they all basically pay the same amount of money, and that gist. But you'll see the build, what I'm talking about. And I feel like Melina, she has a very good head on her shoulders. She grew up in a very strong-willed household. She used to live in Foxbury, like Brychester area. In that one middle part, she has lived there her entire life. And I mean her entire life, since she was born to where she is at now since she moved out. Now, personally, I find Melina is like, she wants the best of the best. She wants to be successful, she wants to be happy, she wants to be rich, but at the same time, she knows what she has to do in order to get there, but doesn't want to sacrifice her relationship with Shannon to get there, if that makes sense. Now, with Melina, she is a person who loves being around people. She loves her family, she loves her friends, and that's why I gave her the friend of the world aspiration. She is actually in the fitness career at level 4, and she's doing pretty good in her skills, pretty good in her relationships with her coworkers, but at the same time, she doesn't really know a lot of people. She knows certain people around town, but not very well enough to see them in her relationship panel. She has good skills, like she's really good at fitness, mixology, comedy, and also charisma. And I think that's kind of what like made her fall in love with Shannon, because Shannon has good charisma, gardening, cooking, painting, photography, and even writing, that they're both creative people. Johnny's very creative. Dylan's very creative. And like Dylan's kids maybe be creative. I don't know. It's just a very creative household with a very creative mindset that all these Sims living together made sense to the point where they could live together for the rest of their lives until they move out or whoever. But I really, really love these Sims. I hope you all do like them, because I want to expand their story a little bit more to the point where I can show like their parents and where they live. Because I'm a person who really loves love, but also loves creative sim and storytelling. So you'll see Shannon's parents, Melina's parents. We already know Johnny's parents. They're crazy. And then, of course, you'll see Dylan's parents in the whole little gist of it all. And it should be good. I might do a creative sim of all of their, parents, except they're all going to be like elders. So it's going to be called the Elder Club. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but they're going to call it the Elders. But either who, I'm going to go ahead and actually end the video right here. I do hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below if you love Johnny Zest and he deserves justice, because every time I go into this game, Johnny is poor, sad, and alone. This time, he's semi-rich, but not alone, and he's very happy with his lifestyle, career, and overall friends. And let's go with that. But either way, as always, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!